D2 Word Life here with Yellow Sperm Man himself, Riptides.
No. You wish you were the conquistadors who are Michael Phelps' yellow golden sperm men, don't you?
Thank God I'm not YouTube famous because I would be demonetized within the first 5 seconds.
No, you could. No, you would edit it out.
But anyway, welcome to the Uncensored Wrestling Podcast. And before we begin, I apologize if you hear any, what sounds to be like wind in the background that I'm talking. I got my fans on because it's really hot here in the summertime, and no, I'm not shutting them off. Because I'm already sweating like a sieve.
A hurricane is coming through.
I'm already sweating like a sieve here despite 2 fans being on. But anyway, this week we are going to be reviewing the WWF No Mercy 2000 pay-per-view.
Yep.
And this took place on October 22nd, 2000 in Albany, New York. With an attendance...
Yep.
With an attendance, let's call them witnesses, of 14,342.
Witnesses?
You know why I said that. We'll get to that match in a moment.
I did it for the crock.
Anyway, the commentators for this event was Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler, while the Spanish commentators were Hugos and Carlos. It
was always Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler back then.
And surprisingly, there was no Spanish announce table being destroyed spot in this show.
Yes.
Despite the fact I was so fully thinking there would be. Anyway, the opening contest to this pay-per-view was the Dudley Boys Table Invitational match, where 2 teams started off, and then after one team been through the table, the entire team's been eliminated, then another team comes in.
Yep. It was Team Too Cool.
Yeah, it was Too Cool. The first 2 teams were Too Cool, which was Scotty Too Hottie and Grandmaster Sexy, taking on Chaz, the former headbanger, and D'Lo Brown.
Yep. Down low.
Yep.
Or low down.
That's what that team was called. Yeah, and these tag matches were these table matches were kind of short because they had to go through the team. So the first table spot came in when Brown tried to hit Sexay and put him through a table, put him on the table and attempted to finish her the low down frog splash, but Sexy moved out of the way and Brown went through the table, and as a result, Lowdown was eliminated.
Yep.
The next team to come out after that was the
Taz and
Raven.
Raven. Quote the Raven, nevermore.
2 men that were famous with ECW back in that day.
Yes, quote the Raven, nevermore.
Yeah, and then after a short, brief fight with Too Cool were eliminated when it's like when
I think it was
Scotty Too Hottie went through the table.
It was Grandmaster Sexy that put his feet through the table. And
that didn't count because he was in the middle of an offensive move.
So the match was restarted.
But then Scotty Too Hottie ended up being put through the table when he was double suplexed from Raven and Taz in that match.
Yep.
Thus eliminating Too Cool from the match. And speaking of ECW, the next team to come out after that were the Dudley Boys themselves.
Yep.
I'm like, and I look at them this is interesting. 4 men from ECW in this matchup.
And 2 men that were conspicuously missing from that tag team match.
But anyway, after a short little scuffle between the 4 ECW veterans, Devon delivered a leg drop, from the top rope onto Taz, sending him through the table, thus
Yep.
eliminating Taz and Raven. And then the final team to enter this match was your boys, the Right to Censor.
No, 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 no.
It was the Good Father and Bull Buchanan. We all know how much you love seeing him wrestle in white suits.
Nope. That's you.
And and yes, there was a ref bump for this one, because of course there always had to be a ref bump for this one. And while the referee was down, Bubba Ray Dudley powerbombed Buchanan through the table, which obviously the referee did not see. He was down, which allowed the Godfather, or the Good Father, to nail Bubba in the head with a steel chair, having Bubba land on top of the Good Father.
He was the good father at that time, which ruined his career.
Which the Good Father moved Buchanan out of the way right when the referee got up, and we thought the match was originally over with RTC winning with a screwy finish.
Mm-hmm.
But then no, a second referee came out and told him what happened. The match was restarted. And after a little bit of more scuffle, the match ended when the Dudley Boys performed a 3D on the Good Father through the table, thus making the Dudley Boys the winners.
Yep.
So your thoughts on this table invitational opening contest?
It was good. Of course, we already knew that there was two men that avoided that match like the plague.
Yep. Oh yeah, and before we move on, I forgot to mention this before we started talking about that first match. I did like the opening package to this show.
Yeah.
When it was talking about how psychotic Steve Austin was, looking at Rikishi, saying, "When I think of Rikishi, I'm looking at a dead man."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, jeez, that's a good way to hype the show. I gotta remember, I have a hard time remembering to talk about the intro of the show before I start talking about the first match.
Yeah.
I'll try to remember for the next week's review.
Yeah.
But either way, the Dudley Boys won the first match of the night. I thought it was wild, chaotic. Thought it was a good way to kick off this show. Of course, then we seen Rikishi in the back waiting for Steve Austin to show up. Rikishi at that point was the heel with a sledgehammer because he did it for The Rock.
Turned heel. He had turned on Too Cool.
Turned on the fans.
Yep.
Because he did it for The Rock.
He did it for the Croc.
But the next scheduled match wasn't really even a match. It was supposed to be an intergender 6-man tag match. It was the APA teaming up with, which is Farouk and Bradshaw, teaming up with Lita to take on Test, Albert, and Trish Stratus.
Yeah, of course they attacked. Of
course, Lita was a women's champion at the time. She made her entrance, and then Bradshaw and Farouk got attacked backstage before the match could even take place.
Well, Bradshaw got attacked, and then Farouk came to help him. He held his own, and then he was taken out.
And then, right when Lita looked like she was about to go backstage, Tess and Albert came out, prompting Trish Stratus to attack her. Yep. And then the four of them got in the back of the ring where Test, Albert, and Trish Stratus started laying the beat down on Lita. Until the Hardy Boys, who were the tag champions at the time, came out to prevent that from happening any further, and then that was it. That was the whole segment.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was kind of a disappointing outcome.
I wanted to see the APA beat the shit out of Test and Albert.
Oh, well, there'll be other events for APA matches. But the next match was not a disappointing one, because it was the steel cage match between X-Pac and Chris Jericho.
Yep.
Yep, and
when Jericho turned heel after that match.
I think Jericho got involved in a feud with Kane after the match. We'll talk about that in a future video.
Well, he also interfered with the match later into the night.
Yeah. But anyway, Jericho and X-Pac, they use the cage to their advantage, including Jericho super powerbombing X-Pac from the top rope.
Yeah.
And then X-Pac tried to make a bunch of attempts to climb out of the cage or to get out of the cage to the door. Jericho stopped him. And hell, at one point Jericho attempted to freaking put X-Pac into the walls of Jericho's submission hold on top of that cage.
Yeah, he also X-Pac also hit Jericho with the Bronco Buster.
Yep. A move you would love to take.
If it was a female doing it, yes.
It's like, nah. You want Roman Reigns to do that to you?
You want Rico to do it to you?
Hell no. We ain't talking about Rico in this pay-per-view. We haven't even reviewed a pay-per-view he was in yet. But just wait until we do. But then after a little bit of back and forth again, X-Pac tried to get out of the cage over the top rope. Jericho was down and out at this point, but then Jericho drop kicked freaking X-Pac through the cage, which landed X-Pac's crotch first onto the cage door in a painful spot. How would you like to freaking land crotch first on top of the steel cage door?
He was singing soprano.
Which allowed, and in doing this, allowed Chris Jericho to leave the cage, be the first one to escape the cage, and win the match.
Well, he was singing baritone, and then he went soprano.
Of course, just to add a little insult to injury, while X-Pac was still hanging there, I liked how Jericho slammed the door shut into the cage with X-Pac still standing there, hanging there after the match was over. Right?
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on this cage match? What are some spots that stood out to you?
It was a good back and forth for a while. Both of them never really had the advantage so much.
Yeah, so either man could have come out the winner in this one.
Yeah, but X-Pac back then was always cocky as hell.
Yep.
That's why he went from baritone to soprano.
And then later on, after the match, we went backstage again to see Rikishi talking to Commissioner McFoley, saying that if Austin did not arrive, Foley would have to go out there and declare Rikishi the winner of his no holds barred match against Austin.
Yeah.
By forfeit. And McFoley reluctantly agreed to do so.
Yeah, but it never happened, though.
Nope. I'll tell you what, we know what happened, but we'll review that when we get there after this next match.
Yep.
The next match on the card was a tag team match pitting your boys, RTC, which was Steven Richards, White Sox, and Val Venus.
No.
And they were...
No one liked the right to censor.
I'm pretty sure there was some right to censor fans out there. All one of you.
Oh, I was not one of them.
Yeah, there was at least one right to censor fan. His name was John.
No.
But anyhow, this version of right to censor...
His name was D2 Centimeter.
No.
Yes.
I don't know. Who is that guy? I don't know who that is, but... But anyway, Steven Richards and Val Venus took on Chyna and Billy Gunn, then known as Mr. Ass.
Yep.
Both of these teams really didn't hold the momentum for very long because it did go back and forth.
I think this match was a prelude to him losing the Mr. Ass name and becoming the one Billy Gunn.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think this was Billy Gunn's first pay-per-view match back after a shoulder injury that he sustained earlier that year, that we alluded to in the last review.
Yeah, where he got kicked out of DX.
Yeah, man. But yeah, the match really took a turn when Billy Gunn started to dominate the match against the two RTC members, which I'm pretty sure made you happy. You've seen corporate suit people get beaten up,
Yeah.
and of course, of course, the other members of the Right to Censor came out to distract Billy Gunn and the referee, right?
And the one and only Eddie
And then
Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero, who was a fresh heel off of his little relationship with China that he had, that was a thing in the last review video we were doing, nailed China with a bouquet of roses, thus leading to Venus pinning China and winning the match.
Yep.
For the Right to Censor. And you know what's funny? After the match, Billy Gunn actually unraveled those roses to reveal a lead pipe. Now, where have we seen that before recently in a review? Oh, wait a minute. That's similar to how that Eddie Guerrero match ended in the last review we did.
Yeah.
That's why I'm looking at that. I'm like, that's ironic.
The thing that's not really relevant to this. What if China and Val Venus tagged together? Would it be China Venus?
I don't know. So yeah, that was kind of disappointing, but I bet you were happy your boys won a match.
No, I did not like the Right to Censor. No one did.
But anyway, your thoughts on this tag match, all from start to finish?
It was okay. Kind of started awkwardly, but it got a little bit better.
Yeah. You're just disappointed because RTC won that match.
I did not like the RTC.
Don't lie to yourself. You know you did.
Nope. Don't lie to yourself. I know you did.
I mean, hell, you even said it yourself to me one time before. Your favorite thing about RTC was their entrance music.
No.
That freaking music was annoying as fuck.
Hell no. It was just,
It's like giant sensor noises. It's like a bunch of sensor noises. Ain't no different than one of my Cards Against Humanity video edits that I had to do. Ain't I right, John? Of course, the next match was the No Holds Barred match between Rikishi and Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, who may or may not have shown up at the show. So Rikishi came out first with his Bad Man theme. I actually like that theme song.
Yeah.
I know a lot of fans don't, but I do. And then he called out Mick Foley saying Austin's not here. Come out and declare me the winner by forfeit right now. Which Mick Foley then came out, and you could tell by the look on Foley's face, he was really reluctant to do it.
Yeah.
And of course, Rikishi at that time admitted he ran over Stone Cold. He did it for The Rock.
He did it for the Croc.
You know, the old meme that we always play. Right? Or we always do.
Yes.
But right when Mick Foley was about to speak, Austin's music hit. And I'm talking about the Disturbed theme.
Uh-huh.
And then Austin did not make a regular entrance for this match. No, he came out driving his truck, broken windshield and all, for this fight.
He came fucking in his beat up fucking truck.
And saying that Austin dominated the first half, pretty much the entire match, was an understatement. Austin beat the holy high shit out of Rikishi throughout this whole fight.
It wasn't really even a fight.
This match, whatever you want to call it, it was pretty much a one-sided beatdown.
It was just Stone Cold relieving his fucking anger.
Yes, and you know
I like how he fucking knocked Rikishi out into the back of his truck.
No. Before we get to that part, I need to point this out. Rikishi took several shots, whipped into the truck, freaking took nasty-ass chair shots, was cut, busted open, bleeding like a sieve.
It was hit in the head with the fucking door.
Yes. And any little bit of offense, here's the funny part, and I was thinking about this when I seen it. Any little bit of offense that Rikishi was able to do on Austin, Austin sold it like you playing 2K because he just got right back up to continue the assault. I should know because I seen that. You do that against me. That's why I said, nice selling job, bro. I bet you thought that when you freaking seen it too.
What do you think I got it?
It's like a good example was when Rikishi managed to shove Austin over the Spanish announce table, only for Austin to get up seconds later and to attack Rikishi with another chair. And all those whips Rikishi took with that belt at Austin's belt at the start of the match too.
Yeah.
Whipping his fat ass, whipping his freaking like back, his stomach. I think he even caught one in the face too.
He got it all over.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then, like you said, near the end, Austin freaking hit Rikishi so hard with the chair he ended up going up to the back of the pickup truck
and knocked his ass out. His truck, drove his fucking truck in reverse, backed up, went through the damn entrance.
Yes.
Went to the parking lot.
Went to the parking lot.
Still beating the shit out of Rikishi.
Got Rikishi out of there, started beating the shit out of him, and then backed the truck up, and it looked like he was going to run his ass over.
Yes!
With his truck. But luckily, or unluckily, however you want to freaking see it, I actually say luckily, because we were about to witness murder on a pay-per-view. Because that's vehicular manslaughter if he hit.
Well, I think that's why Mick Foley kind of called the police.
Yeah, because right when Austin started going full speed towards Rikishi's body there, a police officer came and Austin hit the cop car instead.
Of course, and then he's like, fuck this, reverse!
He reversed the truck and then hit the cop car again, which prompted like 10 other cop cars to come out. Which were 12 fucking cops to come out, take Austin out of the truck and arrest him. And take his ass to jail.
Well, it took 12 cops to handle the freaking rattlesnake.
Yep, and then storyline Austin was taken to jail, which made this no holds barred match end in a no contest.
Yep. And Rikishi had to go to the hospital.
Rikishi had to have several stitches, and he was knocked the fuck out. Even though freaking Rikishi wasn't literally hit by a truck, I bet he felt like he was.
Well, he wasn't literally, but figuratively, he was hit with a Mack truck.
So your
by the name of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah. So your thoughts on this one-sided, no-holds-barred match that ended in a no contest due to Austin getting arrested?
It wasn't even one-sided.
That's pretty much what it was.
It was just one beat-up ass brawl.
It was dominance. That's what it was.
Yes. It's like fucking Brock Lesnar just shows up. Oh, F5. Boom. Done.
So your thoughts on this? I don't know what you want to call it. This freaking attempted crime of a match ending. What do you think? What's your thoughts about this no-holds-barred one-sided brawl?
Fucking Stone Cold just fucking shows up in a fucking rain, squeals his fucking tires going all the way down there, and just fucking jumps out of the damn truck like nothing.
Yeah.
Proceeds to whip ass and stump a mud hole, as he would say.
Yep. So yeah, what's your thoughts on that whole fight? Even though it ended in a no contest for obvious reasons.
It would have fucking kind of been funnier if he had actually done it, because that would be kind of a symbolism.
Yeah, but you know they'd have to do like extra camera tricks to make it look like Rikishi got ran over without him getting ran over.
Yes.
But you know, your thoughts on this fight? I thought it was freaking vicious and shit. I'm like, dude, are we watching a murder? Is that what we're watching?
It was pure rattlesnake venom ass kicking fucking machine.
Exactly.
There was no opposition. what little Rikishi could do, fucking Stone Cold just absorbed it. Is like, bitch. Ah!
Austin was selling a little bit of offense like you do against me in 2K. That's what was going on.
No, this is what I would say. He became the fucking Rattle Hulk.
There was no stopping Austin on this night except for 12 fucking cops.
Like I said, he became the fucking Rattle Hulk. Or Snake Hulk.
Yep.
All he saw was fucking bread. He just beat the living shit out of the man.
Yeah, so moving on from the excitement of that match, or that's why I called the fans witnesses. The next match we saw was for the European Championship as William Regal defended against Midian, or should we say Naked Midian.
Naked Midian.
I'm sorry, but there was no way those two were going to top what Austin and Rikishi just did. I'm sorry.
It would have been hilarious as hell to see Midian naked again, though.
Of course, Mick Foley forced Midian to compete in regular wrestling attire or clothes.
Well, that's because William Regal was filing an injunction and a lawsuit if they were going to allow Midian to wrestle naked.
Yep. It was kind of like...
bitch move.
But, it was kind of like a back and forth type affair. I mean, did you notice the shirt that Midian was wearing was an Undertaker American Badass shirt?
Yes.
Who, surprisingly, The Undertaker and Kane were not featured out on this show for some reason.
Right? Yeah.
But, it's like... But the funniest part came when Midian managed to strip off all of his clothes, except for, like, a fanny pack he was wearing. And, of course, he was wearing a thong, but, the Peacock version has that all censored out.
Yeah.
Of course, it was kind of funny after that, seeing Regal attempt a Regal stretch, looking at freaking Midian's ass like, no! Right? And of course, after he did that, Regal hit the Regal cut on Midian and pinned him to retain the European Championship in this one.
Imagine if he hit the Regal stretch.
I'd be like, Jesus! This was kind of... really wasn't...
This was a funny match.
It was more like a comedy match, but,
It was a comedy match to conclude that one-sided ass beating.
Guess the fans deserved a good laugh after seeing that one-sided fight, but either way, it felt more like a match that you would see on like Raw or SmackDown at the time, but I understand, they needed a clout plunger after that one.
Well, they had to they had to really run and do that match real quick because of the one-sided ass beating.
And of course, after that match, they did show the after effects with the one police officer being taken into the ambulance, the one that was actually in the cop car that got hit. Plus Rikishi laid out still, plus Austin's truck and the cop car being towed away.
Yep.
So yeah, there you go on that one. And now we go to the tag team championship match, pitting the Hardy Boys, which is Matt and Jeff, defending the tag team titles against your boys,
Yellow Sherman!
Los Conquistadores. Si, senor.
Si, senor.
Arriba, which is really Edge and Christian, in masks.
Yes.
Oh yeah, before we get to this matchup, should we tell them about the promo that Edge and Christian cut before the match even happened? Earlier in the show that we forgot to mention.
Yes.
You can explain it.
Okay, so Edge and Christian, like I said before, were hiding from the
table.
Deadly Boys match like the plague. So they said, oh, we got food poisoning, so we're not going to do this. And then they're like, oh, maybe it was the nuts. So we were blowing chunks, and there was no nuts.
Well,
So I just had Christian hold my nuts.
and be like, the nuts are safe for consumption.
Exactly. And then
Making
he's like,
it sound dirty.
These are some big nuts.
Those are some big nuts, making it sound dirty, only to produce a bowl full of nuts. Peanuts, to be more specific.
And then in the match, they turns this to Los Conquistadors or Yellow Spermen.
I mean, I don't care. You can obviously tell that was Edge and Christian in the ring attire, the Conquistador ring attire.
Well, you could tell because they're like, "Sí, señor, dos,
Arriba!
arriba."
But you know, this match was kind of back and forth, but both Hardy Boys tried to rip off one of the Conquistadors' masks to reveal their true identity.
Well, they knew who the fuck they were. They were showing everyone else.
Then Jeff Hardy managed to pull a Swanton bomb near it on a Conquistador Dos. Or Christian Edge, I don't remember. And then Matt Hardy hit.
And then landed on his ass.
And then Matt took advantage on Conquistador Uno. Oh my God, we know one person who will have PTSD from the word Uno. But he hit either Edge or Christian with a twist of fate. Or Edge with a twist of fate. Attempted to pull the mask off, only for another mask to be revealed. And then,
exactly.
And then Conquistador Dos took advantage and hit Matt with the Unprettier to get the pinfall and win the championships.
Yeah, no, I still find it funny that it was either Conquistador Uno or Conquistador Dos, which is Edge and Christian, by the way, guys. Again,
I think Uno was Edge, Dos was Christian.
One of them tried to fucking flip off the top rope and landed on his ass.
Yep. In a funny
that
spot.
was funny as hell.
And of course, in the back, Edge and Christian looked like they were with both the Los Conquistadors as well.
Exactly. They were the same height and build.
And if you would notice, I'm like, wait a minute, there's a difference here. Because when Los Conquistadors were in the ring, I noticed their freaking eyebrows were like a blondish color, revealing it was Edge and Christian.
Yes.
The Conquistadors in the back had black freaking eyebrows, making me think that was really the Hardys back there.
Yeah.
Dressed up as them as well. So I'm like, what the hell?
Well, actually, that was actually true. The Hardys did dress up as Los Conquistadors when they fought Edge and Christian for the titles yet again.
Yeah, and a rematch that would take place the following night after this event on Raw.
Yes.
And I'm just like, that whole situation was just confusing from the off.
It was Los Conquistadors versus Los Conquistadors.
But anyway, the next match is controversial due to who's in it. But if you know, you know. If you know our opinions from previous videos, we don't need to repeat it here. And I don't want to repeat it here. I just want to get through this show because I'm already hot enough. We had Triple H taking on Chris Benoit, one-on-one.
One of the best in-ring competitors.
Yep. But the video package, I did like the video package. Should we talk about the video hype package for this match? At least for the one scene where Stephanie, especially the scene where they showed Stephanie McMahon slap Benoit in the face, that sounded like a gun going off. Sounded like a bitch slap that was hella fucking loud too. How did Benoit no sell that and just laugh? I bet his face was in pain at that point.
Well, he said that he was in pain, but he had to play it off like it didn't hurt.
Yeah, and then Benoit cost Triple H a #1 contenders match to Angle, thus setting up this rivalry at the time. And now here we go. Damn. They were trying to make Benoit a main eventer back then with this fight. Jeez. It was actually a pretty good match.
It was a good match.
I mean, it was back and forth. They could have gone either way. There was really no advantage that either man had.
Until Stephanie came out and slapped
Of
Benoit
course,
again.
during at one point, Triple H's arm got injured by Benoit during the match, and then Benoit eventually applied the crippler crossface on Triple H.
Well, I like the fact that fucking Triple H was trying to block the freaking crippler crossface, and then Benoit's just like, no, just started bashing him in the back of the head.
Yep.
He's like, get the down.
Yep. Of course, Triple H got caught in the crossface the first time, and after a struggle, he eventually stood up and got out of it. That's when Stephanie McMahon came out to interfere in the match and slap Benoit again.
Which got him put into the pedigree.
Well, let's talk about this finisher. Referee was distracted. Triple H tried to go for a pedigree attempt once. It got reversed. Benoit tried to go for a friggin' crossface again. That got reversed. It was like reverse central back into the beginning of the match until freaking Triple H was managed to hit a low blow on Benoit.
Well, when the ref was busy with Stephanie and Benoit was trying to do the crossface for the last time, he went down and hit him in the nuts.
Yep, Benoit suffered a low blow from Triple H when the ref was distracted, and that allowed Triple H to finally hit a pedigree.
I know, it wasn't Edge and Christian's bowl of nuts.
Yeah, and then Triple H then followed that low blow up with a pedigree and pinned Benoit for the victory.
Yep.
That was actually a good match, not gonna lie.
Like I said, he had some good matches.
Yeah, this one was actually a banger of a match.
Well, I also liked his match when he won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, but that review is gonna be for another day. The one that's known as the Forgotten Rumble. But either way, I thought that match was good. But, it's like Benoit even at one point did his diving headbutt on Triple H's injured arm before all the crossface attempts. Forgot to mention that earlier.
Well, we also forgot to mention that Stephanie gave Triple H tape.
Yeah, tape of him being locked in the crossface. And for some reason he was laughing. I think Triple H realized a counter to it, looking at it back.
Yeah.
But, either way, I thought that was a good match. So there you go. And then we go to main event time, and let's face it, they played a mock freaking interview between The Rock and Angle.
It was a modified interview.
Where Angle looked like he made The Rock confess to make Rikishi hit Austin, saying he did it for The Rock.
Which we found out later that week was Triple H that actually hired Rikishi.
Yeah, but we'll go into that if we whenever we review the 2000 Survivor Series event. But anyway, The main event for this one was The Rock defending the WWE Championship against Kurt Angle in a no disqualification match. So, in this match, went back and forth. Of course, Stephanie McMahon was out there ringside with Kurt Angle, too.
Yeah, she was two-timing before she even two-timed.
And after a good good back and forth brawl, The Rock did earn the momentum and applied a sharpshooter on Angle. Yep. The Rock performed a sharpshooter on Angle, and Angle tapped out, but the referee was distracted by Stephanie yet again.
Yep.
And then afterwards, The Rock went after Stephanie, allowing Angle to get back into the match and dominate The Rock. Even Angle took the WWE Championship and hit The Rock with it while the referee was distracted. I don't know why Stephanie had to distract The Rock for that spot. The match was no disqualification to start with. Right? Which caused The Rock to get busted open.
I don't think it was no disqualification.
Well, it was a no DQ match. They even said at the start of the match it was no DQ.
Huh.
So that's why that spot didn't really make sense with the referee being distracted.
Yeah.
And both men were busted. I don't know how the heck that. I don't know. I don't remember how Angle got busted open. Must have been like a little tiny cut I didn't even notice.
You got beat the shit out of by The Rock.
And of course, after getting hit with the championship,
The fucking announce tables.
of course, after The Rock recovered from getting hit with a championship, he hit Angle with a spine buster, and then he tried to perform a people's elbow onto Stephanie McMahon, who was laid out in the ring.
No, you forgot his part. He hit Stephanie, went into the ring to freaking save Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
And The Rock just freaking rock bottomed her.
Oh yeah, The Rock bottom Stephanie. Yeah.
Then he was going to go for the people's elbow.
Yeah, he was going to go for a people's elbow on Stephanie, but Angle interrupted and prevented The Rock from hitting the move. Triple H then interfered in the match and tossed Angle out of the ring and then hit The Rock with a pedigree. And then carried a unconscious Stephanie backstage.
Yeah.
Thus taking her out of the equation.
And then Kurt Angle with his squirrely little ways like he was.
And then, no. We gotta talk about this. After Stephanie was staying in the back, The Rock and Angle did continue to battle each other for a short period after that. Until Rikishi, bandaged and all, came out.
And you're super kicking.
And then he started attacking. Well, he started attacking Angle, and then Rikishi did try to do his big splash in the corner, only for Angle to pull The Rock in, and The Rock got all the blow of the move. And then Rikishi was like, "Damn it!" And then again, when The Rock was getting up dazed, Rikishi tried to do a super kick onto Angle. Angle moved out of the way, and The Rock got hit with a super kick instead. And then Rikishi once again was like, "Dang it!" Right? And then Angle hit the Angle slam on Rikishi, followed by Angle slamming The Rock, and then he covered The Rock 1, 2, 3, and won his first of several WWE World Championships.
Yep.
And that's how No Mercy ended.
Yep.
Yeah, and Kurt Angle at this point was only in the company for 11 months, and it took him 11 months to become world champion there for the first time. Yeah. And yes, we got to point out this was Kurt Angle with hair.
Oh, that reminds me.
But anyway, before you do that, what's your thoughts about the match between The Rock and Angle here?
It was a good match. It was back and forth, and no one really had the advantage until Triple H came out, and then Rikishi came out.
Yep.
Other than that, it was pretty entertaining.
Yep. So, anyway, here's our match ratings and thoughts. The Dudley Boys Table Invitational match, which the Dudleys won when they last eliminated RTC. I give that one about 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
And of course, we got the Acolytes and Lita versus TNA and Trish Stratus. That didn't even happen. No. That don't even get a star. That gets a dud because the match never even happened.
Yeah.
So it gets a dud. It doesn't even get a star rating, negative or positive.
It gets a negative. It gets negative 9,999,900.
Don't even say that number.
999.
Well, for me, it gets a dud. Whatever. It didn't even happen. The X-Pac Jericho Steel Cage match, I give about 3.5.
3.25. It could have
out of 5, yeah.
Better. They did what they could for the time limit that they had.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the greatest steel cage match I've ever seen, but it served its purpose. Told the story they needed to tell. With Jericho defeating X-Pac in that cage.
Yep.
It's like the Right 2 Cents serve, which was Steven Richards and Val Venus defeating Chyna and Billy Gunn in that tag match. Even with the interference of the late great Eddie Guerrero, I would just have to say this one's a 3-star average.
Yeah.
Of course, the Steve Austin Rikishi one-sided no contest beatdown, which ended in Austin's arrest, I would have to give that about 4.5.
10.
The reason I gave it 4.5 is because there was no winner. But you gave
The
it a
reason why I
10.
gave it a 10 is because of the fucking one-sided beatdown. The attempted vehicular manslaughter.
Okay. That match, I will say this: that match is the only match that I can watch that has a no contest, real finish that I would be okay with. So yeah, I'd probably bump it up to maybe 4 3/4.
My rating still stands.
Yep. The William Regal versus Naked Midian. The William Regal defeating Naked Midian to retain the European Championship.
1.5.
You'd say 1.5. I'd give it about maybe 2 because it seemed like on that level. Like it was below average. It was just there to be there.
Yeah.
The Yellow Sperm Men defeating the Hardy Boys to win the tag team championships. I mean Los Conquistadors. I mean Edge and Christian. Whatever you want to call them. I like the story they told. I thought it was good, but I'm just gonna have to give it about maybe 3 1/4.
I say a 4, just because of the promo where they said, "Oh, I had to hold Edge's nuts."
Arriba. The Triple H versus Chris Benoit banger of a match. I would have to give about 1 for the interference. Yeah, it's like 4 1/4. But 1 for the interference spot, it probably would have been a whole lot higher than that, or a little bit higher. Not by a little bit higher, but interference kind of go for me. But either way, both men had a banger of a match. And of course, Triple H defeated Benoit in that matchup. And of course, Kurt Angle defeating The Rock in that no disqualification match to win his first WWE Championship. I would give it about. It's not the best Kurt Angle match there, but it's still up there. So I give it about, I don't know, 3 3/4 stars. I give about 3 3/4.
I give it a 3.5.
And why did we pick No Mercy 2000? Because we did it for The Rock.
We did it for the Croc.
So overall, what would be your final letter grade for No Mercy 2000 as a whole package?
I'd say B.
For me, I would say about a good. I would also agree. I would say about a B, and that's only because of the strength of the Austin Rikishi beatdown. And of course, the other standout match was Triple H and Chris Benoit's match.
Yeah.
But if you were only going to watch one match from this pay-per-view, I would recommend the Austin Rikishi match. Even though it ends in a no contest, it's still a brutal beatdown.
Yep.
So yeah, that's our thoughts on WWF No Mercy 2000. So for the next pay-per-view review, we will be reviewing the Clash of the Castle this weekend.
Yep.
Which is coming up this Saturday at time of recording.
It'll be starting at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
Yeah. And that's probably going to be a good one. But as far as the classic pay-per-view reviews for next week, or whatever we're going to be doing with this podcast after the Clash of the Castle event, it would be your pick on what we're doing. So what are we doing next week for next week's podcast after Clash of the Castle?
Hair. Burst hair.
Okay.
The Edge and Angle match.
Okay, so your pick for the next one will be Judgment Day 2002?
Yes.
Yeah, that did have the hair versus hair match. That one also had that Hell in a Cell between Jericho and Triple H.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, that the main event for that one was Taker going after the Undisputed Championship against Hollywood Hogan.
Yep.
And of course, it'll be the first review featuring your boy, So anyway,
The reason why I say that the freaking the Judgment Day 2002 is also because fucking Kurt Angle ran around the fucking arena like a little bitch after he lost.
but we will be reviewing that next week after Clash of the Castle. So yeah. So until then, I hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to y'all later. Peace.
If you're gonna watch it, watch the Yellow Sperm Men.
Peace.
Deuces.